It's exactly 13 minutes past 13 hours on the 14th day of the first month in 2020. Okay, long talk for just saying it's Tuesday, and you're welcome to the Executive Lounge. It's a new year. Just the other day, 2019 just came by and went shoo, like the Roadrunner. This one too has started. The 6 weeks in January has already hit the third week, and we have just another 3 more weeks, and January will be done. So hoping that you've all started on all cylinders for the year 2020, and you're ready to make some big moves, you know. My guest in the studio is a creative entrepreneur. I think this guy has done everything you can imagine from the media business perspective. He's also worked in activations. I mean, he thinks, how do I even put it? Like Mach 2 creativity, you know? So Mach 2 is 2 times the speed of sound, right? This guy's constantly spinning and thinking out ways to do new stuff. So in 2018, the President of the Republic announced that 2019 was going to be the year of return to coincide with the abolition of slave trade, and also to reawaken the Pan-African consciousness of the diaspora and Africans in that diaspora, as well as the African Americans across the world. That led to quite a lot of global spotlight on Ghana, which meant that, as people are coming, we needed to find ways to entertain them, receive them, make sure they were safe, give them things to do and places to see. As for the culture, we have it in abundance. We saw everything from Dirty Rave, Afrochella, what were the other ones? Plenty. And then Afro Nation, which has been, touted as the new benchmark for festivals in Ghana. Hitherto, we didn't have big festivals anyway. If you can remember the vibrant street carnival of more than 23 or so years ago. But this brings us to the reason for today's conversation. And my guest in the studio is Rudy Kwachi. He is the CEO of the Rave Group. And he joins me to, unpack what the process was for getting ready for Afro Nation, and more importantly, what the lessons are, what hurdles did they have to get over, how did they get around it, and how Ghana stands to gain, or what the potential gain for us is as far as the focus that's on us now, the success of Afro Nation and the likes of Afrochella and all the other festivals. Where is the silver lining? Or where is that pot at the end of this rainbow? Rudy, you're welcome.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to catch up with you.
Happy New
Year. I would rather have interviewed somebody I didn't know, because one of the biggest and most challenging conversations I've ever had is always with people I know. So at this point, God help me pretend I don't know Rudy, so I can stay focused and, more importantly, make sense. Because we do have our moments. Okay? Anyway, but congratulations. I think that Afro Nation,
thank you.
Did make waves, and quite a lot of people, great reviews. I didn't get to go out over the holidays, not because you didn't send me complimentary tickets, but
in other words, you did not contribute to the economic success of the year of return by patronizing one of the executions.
How do you return to some place you already live?
Okay.
No,
you did not support.
It was deliberate for me to sit back.
You mean you deprived all of us of your financial gain?
No. I'll be there next year. I wanted to sit back and observe. And I think for me, a lot of questions, were answered over the period. There was generally some anxiety.
Yes.
About whether Year of Return was going to pan out the way people have anticipated or hoped that it would. The jury is still out there on a number of things, but one thing's for sure, that the spotlight that was on Ghana uncovered that there's a whole lot more to us than what we saw towards the end of last year. For Afro Nation, what was your anxiety leading up to the actual event? What were your thoughts? What were your biggest fears ahead of Afro Nation?
I think the biggest fears was actually living up to the benchmark of the brand that's set. Just a few months prior in August in Portugal, again 25,000 predominantly mostly black people with originating from Black Africa, because they all have ancestry from Nigeria. They traveled from London, from all over Europe. Some came as far as Australia, gathered, in Portugal, and this festival took place. So at the back of that, with Ghana being, the second execution, with such a, it was a smashing success. You get that, would we be able to live up to expectations? Would we be able to execute? Would we be able to meet the benchmarks, the KPI? So for me, that was always single point of focus, which was to hit that benchmark, to deliver.
What did you, typically when you have anxious moments, you have all kinds of weird imagery in your mind. Okay, will this work? Will we have this, or will we have that? Will we have this? What were maybe 2 or 3 of the things that for you were super important that you were able to guarantee optimum uptime for such?
Your first thing is technical. Do we have enough technical firepower to support what the deliveries are? Remember that that's about 30 acts with different levels of performance and engagement. We had about 8 rolling risers, which typically you set up a band, roll them off stage for the next guy to come. And you had to prepare for all 30 that maybe all of them may be going live. So technical was the number one. The second thing was obviously experience, customer experience. How do we get people in and out of the venue without it impacting on? There's a degree of there's a degree of anxiety that you have to plan for. You probably will never hit it 100%. So, but how do we make the experience as painless as possible? You have to take a look at the entire area, not your venue. Your venue, you have 100% control in what you need to do, but the external forces. If today the road is shut at La, what happens to your customers that are coming in? If trade fair, the trade fair lane goes out of shape or something happens, what do? If there's a big truck that decides to perch somewhere in the middle of the road, what would you do? So those were the things, the external challenge. And obviously, you also need to know that it was a collaborative effort. So all the other people that need to get things done, what were they? Are they up to task? And are they, up to task in a sense of, do they appreciate or comprehend what the challenge is? Because I think the biggest, and then the third one was for me, this word I use a lot, comprehension. If it's no, it's not an English lesson. No, it's actually people comprehending that you are bringing thousands of people who probably have not been to your country, do not know or understand what you do locally, but are coming with a set thing in their mind of the roads are working. We hear it's a peaceful space. We hear you can walk in and out without needing bodyguards. So how do you make sure that those things, you tick the boxes? So which means you need to comprehend that these are the challenges that will be coming your way. So for me, I work with these 3, not what was published. Those ones were not.
So it's technical, the experience, and then the comprehension.
Yes, comprehension of the size of the execution.
Okay.
Because see, when we put it out there, it was and then Portugal happened. That's when a few people started to get, wait, this is the level of execution, because it was in.
So suddenly you had a benchmark.
Thank you.
Which, albeit happened somewhere in the Algarve region, away from here. Infrastructure-wise, you didn't need to try too much. And you want to pull off something similar where the imbalance is the level of infrastructure. And then you mentioned that for you, technical comprehension of the scale of what you're about to do and how you need to get it done, and then the customer experience, which is critical in all of these things. My festival experiences will live with me till I'm probably reincarnated.
We are tempted to ask you which one, but
Oh, quite a number of them. I mean, for me, I think one of the ones that and I'm a little biased when it comes to reggae music, and it was for me Essential Music Festival in Brighton.
That one.
Yeah, that one. Yes, Essential had a but. It shows you the scale, the amount of work, and it takes lots of people to do this.
Yes.
You mentioned the importance of collaboration. I like to look at the term collaboration from the perspective of brand association. Okay, so you may have what it takes to do a certain complete overview, bird's eye view, working with everybody, coordinating, making sure it happens. So you're the arrowhead in all of this. How do you get all these other people aligned?
I think
firing at the level that you had anticipated.
So here's what Afro Nation did with even the entire year of return team and the whole December. I had a very cryptic conversation with one I would not name, but marketing director of one of the big brands in town. He was like, and person is not from here, and she made a statement. We actually made the statement that this December would either break Ghana or make us for the next 5 years. Break Ghana in the sense that the anticipation of December in Ghana, which is now an established lifestyle.
It's been growing.
It's there. Now it's cemented. December in Ghana is a thing. And the anticipation of people who are making inquiries from personal to obviously, event curators like us and whatnot. If we did not get it right, even as a nation or as individual, executors, we will break the system and people will leave and not think that Ghana is worth all the fuss. So when immediately that was said, I was, okay, we need to take big action. So I want to say good afternoon to the mayor of the city, Mohammed Ejesoa. When I went to him, I said, this is actually where we are. This is the map of the space. This event is happening here. This one is here. This one is here. And these are overlapping days. If you look at this, we all have to think as one and not in silos. Because you may think that Afrochella is actually far off at Elwak. No, but the Elwak road is as critical as possible.
Because it's the main artery to your venue.
The road that we were on is the West African Highway. 1 million commuters daily. If you disrupt 1 million commuters, the blowback on the city could be different. So I think when the picture was painted, they may immediately moved. I went to the same with the Ghana Tourist Authority CEO, Mr. Kwesi Ajiman. Warm reception opened up. They got together and started to call all, not even one. Even as far as Little Havana, which was in Ebri, we all were put in a single room that, guys, we need to talk. And the immigration was brought in, security couples came in, national security, police services, all of them were in a single room. That at least let's get to know what each other is doing. Here are the critical dates, here are the overlapping points. And some of us need to plan together rather than alone.
So you were able to achieve a singularity of purpose because the leadership was right.
Excellent. I mean, the guys at Polo Beach Club, Press Express and Team Qua, for us, we were neighbors, literally. So we actually sat down like, okay, we had a single plan. I mean, their numbers were smaller in comparison, but that's high net worth individuals. If you disrupt them, you disrupt, these are influencers, let me put it this way. You disrupt them, so we planned. We went together. So there was actually a day we all went on the road. The police commander and the MTTD commander were all driving, went to Afrochella, went to visit the Polo Beach Club, came to Afro Nation Space, and went to Dirty Raves. Because look at the archery, that one of the places we see as an escape to open up for people to quickly get out.
That's also an archery to their event.
That goes to. So think 27, 28. 27th was all of us our opening day. That was the Dirty Rave. 28th is Afrochella. And that's second day for Polo Beach Club, second day for us. So again, the numbers that were concentrated on that that were to be concentrated, or we projected to be concentrated in that enclave, was heavy, and we needed a plan to try and work with it. I mean, the biggest thing that we thought people would complain was traffic. Actually wasn't as bad as any regular day in a regular working day in Accra.
Yeah.
Because truthfully, when the police said they were bringing 30,000 people and pouring them in, it did happen. There were arteries created for easy access. We didn't achieve everything 100% like what we did on paper. On paper, I had directional signs as far as motorway, just to get people not to come down the Nungwa Road.
And get stuck. We sat with the Southern Command. They were in a meeting because that's right in front of their space, and there are security considerations for some of these things. When people are gathering, that's also an opportunity for somebody to. So all of these things actually contributed to kind of making things work better than we all anticipated. Wonderful. It's 29 minutes past the 1 on Joy 99.7 FM. This is the Executive Lounge, and we're having a conversation with the CEO of the Rave Group, and they delivered Afro Nation Now. Year of Return. Raving reviews, including, all the other things. So you had Essence, you had the All White. I mean, there was everything happening for once in the center of the world. I mean, like, maybe you, and this is where it was all happening. But for those of us who are sitting, and watching it all unfold, or even as customers or revelers at these events, we're not privy to, the sweaty palms and other things that you need to go through to make this happen. Looking back, Rudy, would you say that if Ghana had 1.5 times the influx come December 2020, would have even better reviews?
Indeed, I'll say that.
So we're ready.
Yeah, I think I was a little anxious leading in. There were a lot of conversations. Expand here, put this one here. The airport, we needed more people. We went as far as going to immigration service to say, if we need to recall people from holidays, we're ready as Afro Nation to actually put in for the overtime.
Wow.
Just to process customers in. But I think they did. We could have done better, but they did a great job in pushing things out. Because, and what was scary was, so I had to pick up somebody on the 1st or 2nd of December, and it took 3 hours. It took, that was alarm bells. It took long, and I think it was
just your one person.
My one person. It was about, I think about 6 flights that time. It was really peak. So when the next meeting we called, it's like, no, we're opening more processing centers, visas. The immigration is adding more, processes for people. Like, everything will be filled. Usually you have 2 or 3 people or 4 people at post. No, this was full.
Yeah.
They went full blast. And I think that helped. And proof of we are ready is that this December passed without any major incident that is being reported on, or even if somebody wanted to be mischievous, I think they're having a hard time trying to find one thing that was wrong this December.
Wow. It's 32 minutes past 1. This is the Executive Lounge. You can join the conversation by sending us a WhatsApp or Telegram to 0244 340437. You can also tweet at me. It's at GH Rainmaker or hashtag Executive Lounge. And the other platform available to you is we're streaming live on Facebook. Find the Facebook page for Joy FM.
We are.
And yes, you can see Rudy's very shiny head in the studio. You get to see the guy who's talking about, seeing the big picture and getting everybody together to make it happen. So a lot of pragmatic work, but more importantly, more proactive, that you kept looking at. Though this is the vision we had, you looked at where could this vision potentially fail, and that's where you built. You made sure that you had your sandbags.
I had a daily thing I used to do myself. it was first the whole movement, the mission was expect the very worst. So
Okay.
kind of all the challenges that were thrown at us was not strange. So when you expect the worst, you make plans for, and each one of them face it head on.
But we tend to hear that be positive mental attitude. Always think that this
That
dream is
thing
gonna
can kill.
happen. Yeah, so that thing can kill.
You can guilt.
No, but so how did you manage
So-
to still remain positive when you
Because-
were preparing for?
Because my expectations were not low. My expectations were actually set to worse. So when you're expecting the worst, you prepare yourself for. So nothing was surprising. Like I didn't have the wind out of my sail at any point in time because I was just, what could go wrong? Everything. So if everything could go wrong, how do we make it right? So it was plans within plans, and just managing, like dedicating time to actually, quote unquote, galvanize all the teams together and let's have all these meetings. It may look to somebody like, why? Is it your event? Why are you caring? Well, the thing is, our fortunes were loosely tied together. If the roads aren't clear for somebody from Afrochella to come down to Afro Nation, or for somebody to move clearly from Afro Nation to...
They'll be clogging the artery.
Exactly. And we will all get the blowback of... what happens in each one's event, we all have control. That's for everybody's experience. But what happens externally, I think we all have a part to play. And if we fix those external things, the internal experiences become pleasant.
Yeah.
If access to we literally leveled the land. We created access roads, filled the spaces. We had to do something. And yes, it's not your property. Why are you doing all that for a 4-day event? When you're done, you pack and go. I said, no, you're looking at it wrong. If they come and they don't get a good experience at the venue, it's not just the venue that best. In fact, the venue will be probably the last consideration that gets punched. Mm-hmm. Your brand gets punched first, so which means you need to work ahead of that. And you have a responsibility to elevate the space. Like, we went as far as dredging the Kweshi Lagoon. We cleaned up the lagoon. It's a 2-week intense operation.
Why did you do that?
Because the time was way past for you and the city authorities to be having conversations. Why is this place clean? You are bringing thousands of people that have never probably been and want to come to give them an experience. If they come, they will not say that, shame on Ladma or Lekma or Accra or the mayor. None of those people are in the front line. You will get punched first. So for us, that's what I think that's the spirit of PPP we need to look at. That's really the spirit of private-public partnership.
Okay, expand on that a little.
So externally, we didn't hide the lagoon. It has nothing to do, but the lagoon will produce mosquitoes at a certain time. We noticed that in order for them to drive out mosquitoes, at certain points they burn tires, which is not good. It's toxic to the environment. So the thing that we needed to do was, and it costs a pretty penny, a very pretty. That amount actually can stage a show. Okay. For cleaning alone. What we spent on cleaning. But we looked at it from a large, we could cover all of those places. Mm-hmm. You can do snazzy branding. Cover it all. So when you enter, you don't see it. But it's there.
It will waft into you.
Exactly. Yeah, waft. I like that word. So we had to do that. And look, almost magical. The moment the cleaning was done, I think we reduced the mosquito population, and there was also a very strong regimen, spraying regimen, that we embarked on. So it was consistently, daily, we needed to do that. But the moment we ticked that box, we realized that things changed even, and do good. You have to be Google, do good. Because for me, after that, I'm like, what else can be thrown at us? We're fine. Whatever will be thrown will be dealt with. Because we came and saw and we improved. Which is really what needs to happen.
Yeah.
You come, you see, you have to do something to improve the space.
If you have some comments are coming through on WhatsApp and some on Facebook as well. Pakwesi Sumwa or Ishiama rather, Ishiama Thompson says, "Good show, Rudy Kwachi. Do we have a chance to have an encore this year?"
Hey, that question.
What?
That question.
Is it going to happen, or this was?
I mean, it's early days. Yeah, we're still actually, we're going through the motions of debrief. It was a very tiring experience, and my external team actually was tired. So everybody, and they were out, especially a very emotional period like Christmas. You are in somebody's land trying to sell joy. So it took time off. We're still a gathering, and we have to do a very big team audit to see where there are things that need to happen. I'll put it out right now. It's not out of the way. I mean, somebody quoted me somewhere that it's not set in stone, but I mean, Ghana delivered in terms of like the experience, everything, like a massive chunk. We just need a few things to be able to, to help this whole thing because, it's external. These things are not just about, you the organizer. It's gone past you the organizer. It's gone past you the country. It's something else right now.
Well, there's one person who definitely agrees with you. Ofori Dakwa says it was great at Afrochella and Afro Nation. It was perfectly organized. Security was A+. I love GH. So, I mean, the endorsements are coming from all over.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yes. Now, let's explore the next level beyond Afro Nation. Of course, we're talking beyond the return. What I'd like to learn from you, based on what you saw, first of all, how many people made up your team on the ground to make this happen?
So
because I mean, look, 60,000 plus people, 30 artists plus with entourage, all of those things. That's not a joke.
During festival, the 4 days, we probably had about 750. So the easiest marker I use was 750 meals for the 4 days. That's just staff meals.
750 meals a day.
A day,
for
3
days.
times a day. For 4 days. But the build period, I think I started build with not less than about 60 people, and they kept increasing because each one counts. Our daily labor that we source from the La Township and the Teshi Township, you have to put something back. We're doing an average of 150, 200 people a day just to come on site and
what went into
lift.
The choice of working with the locals in the catchment area? So
the thing is this, look, do good where you are. One of the things I would praise, my partners for Event Horizon and team was 100% Rudy, we need to work with the locals. I am 100%, in fact 2,000% behind that. 99% of the build that you saw was sourced here, operated by people here. There was an external team that we brought, but the large team that we brought was technology we didn't have here that we imported, which was the RFID, management systems, whatnots. But this was a Ghana execution. Let nobody have any single doubt.
And that put some money in pockets in Teshila and surrounding
areas.
town.
Not just that. The RFID, we hired people, put them in a room for 3 days and trained them for usage. That's just knowledge transfer that's gone into the system of, I saw a few local developers coming. One of the saddest things is things went so fast, and there are a few local platforms I would love to actually get in. And I shout to the Snooco team. It was very late in our engagement, but what they wanted to do, like a wayfinder system, would have been an awesome experience, even much more. We just didn't have enough time to deploy, and we had already caged our system.
I guess the vision you had created an enabling environment for innovators like Sess and his team to get in on the action. I mean, you just said not too long ago that Christmas, December,
it's a thing.
Destination Ghana.
It's a thing. Listen, I was in Lagos this weekend.
Okay.
And every single conversation opened up with you, these Ghana people, everybody was coming in. Apparently, now here's the kicker: just Nigerian flights are coming to Ghana.
Yeah.
Africa World apparently created 7 extra flights.
Yes, they were flying till as late as past.
And it still wasn't enough.
So just next door.
The number of PJs that landed in Ghana, the number of fees that they landed in private jets.
Private jets.
No pajamas.
Okay. Really behave.
Nothing. But yeah, the landing fees that they will pay, all right, to the GCA for that. You know, the economic impact of this thing. Let us all know. Sometimes I hear people local impact. Last year, I was one of the people that voiced out, okay, it looks like it wasn't sold to Ghanaians. Well, Ghana, think about it. It's sold to the people out there to bring us things.
So
it's not year of discovery, it's year of return.
So what should be the disposition of
Ghanaians?
The Ghanaians.
Yeah, I definitely think that I definitely think there's room for a local component. You see, part of the things that and shouts to the Year of Return team, Annabelle and team, that part of the thing that they could have done was, we needed to educate a little bit more. We needed to sound the horn a little bit more internally, like, listen, we're bringing people in. These are the opportunities that people are coming in with. What can you do? Because I think that we would have even made it's almost like when you do any of the carnivals anywhere, it's not people that fly in to give those authentic carnival experiences. It's the locals. Because they buy into it. So I think that buy-in needs to be entrenched and strengthened, so it gets entrenched.
That would deliver a cultural diversity.
That would deliver. See, I think from a lifestyle part, we nailed it.
Okay.
The cultural diversity would only be delivered by the locals, and that we need to work on it.
There was an article on CNN, I think a day or so ago.
Yes.
And there's a quotation that I made note of. Where what happened was being regarded or called the new Harlem Renaissance.
Yes.
And the Harlem Renaissance was basically a movement in the United States where African American arts and culture suddenly became mainstream and fashionable, and people didn't look down upon it as they used to before. Would you agree with that assertion that the new Harlem Renaissance is upon us?
I like Americans and how they find symbolism in their own backyard to try and appropriate. What is Harlem Renaissance? Harlem Renaissance was driven by black people.
Yes.
So slapping Harlem on it is neither here nor there. This is a renaissance of African culture and lifestyle. Let's not call it anything. This is a country like Ghana. And here's sometimes how I take these things. So usually on your travels, where are you from? Ghana. The next thing is Guyana.
No,
is stopped.
Ghana.
That thing doesn't happen.
When they hear Ghana,
they know it's Ghana.
It's Ghana, yes.
Which is for me one massive indicator. I used to get all the time where Guyana. I said, which Guyana? And there was a Guyanese on my team, the head of production, right? And he himself was like, yo, now that thing doesn't happen. I understand why it should be Ghana and not
Guyana.
no Guyana. Right. So I think, yeah, but let me do away with the symbolism and come to exactly the question. It's just a renaissance of Africa's cultural diversity.
Okay.
It's no more just a bit of cultural dances and drums. One of the discoveries that people had in December is that there's actually a vibrant, strong lifestyle community and opportunity in this market, which they didn't think existed. Nobody thought that you guys are crazy. Well, it's crazy until it happens. But 30 acts, festival, Ghana, travel, logistics. Do they even have enough planes? Is the airport? I'm like, so it was just a checklist. Everything tick, and that's the surprise, that you land at an proper international airport. You go through the system, you get out, all your apps that you use wherever you are working and taking you in. You meet friendly people, and you will jam. You know, you jam the Liga and illegal. Okay, everybody
was jamming.
There was a jam. So for me, that was the take back. Like, this your Ghana is beautiful. And the thing is, somebody was like, I didn't expect to see that much skyscraper. I'm like, go and come. In a year, you probably see the different skyline. I'm like, well, I see, you don't know. We're on a breakneck speed in our development. Yeah. You know, and he hadn't seen the cathedral. I said, don't mind that guy.
The cathedral.
It will be heavy.
When they come.
When it comes, anyway. You realize that.
12 minutes to the top of the hour. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call on 0302216541 or 0244340437. Send us your thoughts on WhatsApp 0244340437. You can also go to the Facebook page and watch us live on the stream and send us your own comments. Mr. Charles Manson says, Uncle, what happened to the grey beard? Congrats once again for using technology to raise the bar in the space. Nathaniel Alex Ankuma says, kudos to my former boss. You can never go wrong with this man. Rudy is a go-getter. How did he become a former boss if he's a go-getter? You left the guy now.
He's go getting his own.
He's going to get his own. You've infected him nicely. You know, and then back we see, please, this is not true. He says Apsu interviewing Apsu. I beg you, no. Rudy is the only Apsu in the room. Don't get it twisted. Right? I don't get involved in these things. I'm blessed to be where I am. Those people who think they went to good schools, they should carry it on their bald heads. Anyway, Rudy,
yes.
We're getting ready to end this. You've talked about, and for me, there are quite a number of lessons I'm taking away from this. We're hoping that we can learn from this. Now, you talked about the positioning for the Ghanaian.
Yes.
How about the positioning for the Ghanaian who can position themselves for this wave to make economic sense to them directly?
Okay, so I think that now these are the impact parts that we need to talk about. I mean, for Afro Nation, we're working with the Prince's Trust strongly. In fact, this year we tried to make it happen, but even that, we've got some IP from them to learn. There's a skills training program that, you know, for the time that we're here, things does move forward. To engage and train locally, because my vision is, you know, we do 100% local execution. You know, local execution in terms of, you know, delivering of everything else, right? So that requires that we do a lot of skills training. I mean, even myself and my team, we're not sleeping. We will be going out there to a lot of other experiences to even take in some more. We also saw that my greatest joy. So when on the planning stages, we're thinking, you know, RFID tax and going commerce, cashless, the whole system. There were a lot of doubters on the table on the other side saying, we don't really need to do that. It costs money to bring the tech because the platform doesn't exist here. You know, bring people in. And Lone Wolf, I was sitting there telling my partners, if we're not doing this, we're probably not doing the festival, so let's not get it twisted. This needs to happen. And the ease of use, so much learnings, but ease of use was actually surprising to them. Like this is easy. You should go and read.
So basically, this was a thing where you had radio frequency ID tags, where money was loaded.
Loaded. You come in, you take it, you go. You load up your cash.
So if you bought Coca-Cola or your bottled water,
tap, go.
You tap
food, but tap, go. And the thing is this, there's a practical reason for that.
Well, you got numbers. You got lots of people.
Thank you. So you move people faster. You move people faster. Otherwise, you would have queues that back up 30 minutes and you have a problem. So those scenarios were always something like, don't ever get queues that are 30 minutes long to get to. And you also don't want to be carrying like a massive amount of cash. A massive amount of cash into a system. You know, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You want to reduce it as much as
possible. And it also brings a lot of peace of mind to people, knowing that, you know, the less cash you carry on you, the better. You're no longer a target.
No, and that was it. And even us. I mean, there was still a lot of cash in the festival, but unbeknownst to people, there was actually a whole banking system embedded in there.
Yeah. It was a banking system that was cashless.
Yes, there was a bank in the festival.
Oh, yeah, because when you arrive and you needed to, you
really
pay
made
cash.
sure. Yes, it was an embedded system in there to make sure that we move things. No, because you have to. You really have to do that.
Right.
I mean, look, just to give ease of use, and to our friends at Helios Towers, we actually mounted a car on wheels, a temporary tower, to give good cell service,
to allow the bank to be able to
to
work,
allow
and
anybody,
also
your apps will work, because again, you don't want it to be a black hole when you are there and people can't reach people, can't get calls through. How would emergency services work if we couldn't get calls through at the space? So that needed to, Google extended fiber to the entire beach.
Wow.
To make sure that our technology actually works. We put in African Online, put in there was a lot of, those things, those little things were important. And I think for me, that's how we need to think about this.
24 hours after Afro Nation, you woke up in the morning. What was the first thing that you thought of?
It's over. Thank God. Thank God. My single goal was to see this thing happen without incident, without anything that cannot be contained. I mean, I just laid down.
Biggest hurdle you had to get over?
All the disturbances that were going on.
Which disturbance?
All the distractions that were happening. But the biggest hurdle was actually people.
Okay.
You see, you're building a skyscraper, and some people came to the site thinking it was another show. It wasn't. So some of the suppliers and the people that are like, no, guy, we're on a timeline. We actually lost money because one of the timelines wasn't met. Day one was cruising to be our biggest sellout. That's a Burna Boy. Of all the shows that were in time, Burna was just standing tall. Rick Ross was here, Burna was still tall. But day one, we probably technically may have turned away about 5,000 people.
Wow.
Because the thing was feedback. You can't get tickets to buy. We're not selling tickets on site because we're stress testing the site. We were supposed to have done our stress test on the 26th. We would have gone through a whole systems check. We didn't get to do that because the bill didn't finish early. So the 27th was like, okay, anybody that's bought a ticket already gets to come in. Anybody that has a festival gets to come in. But if you are now making up your mind to come or trying to look for tickets, pull all tickets, hold it, don't allow them to come in. So day one, there was a lot of, it's very tough to get to know. It was an intentional step to stress test it. Half of the dignitaries who wanted to see Burna actually didn't turn up because we politely said, it's a site that needs to be stress tested. We will not be able to guarantee your security requirements within the system which hasn't been tested by us. So we would encourage you to come the next day.
Yeah.
And that's why numbers to the next day, and again, it was a dynamic build. So on a daily basis, we kept moving things around to adjust because it was almost like, but that's what happens when you work with experienced people. There was some level of predictive analytics happening. We sit there and realize that dirty wave. By the time we cross finished, we knew Afro Nation was going to be smashed. There were about 2,000 to 3,000 people that were just coming like a tornado towards us. We had to adjust. Afrochella, by the time I think it was about 8, 9, from 9, we realized that by 11 we'll be smashed. Literally 4,000 to 5,000 people were coming down that road. What do? We made security adjustments. How to let a lot of people in as fast as possible. So you realize that some things were reduced on certain days were higher because we had to adapt that dynamic build. It's a new space, and it's a new, even for me, it's a new way of doing things. So you had to adjust and write the books. Yeah, I mean, I've come up with data on how to manage that, but you had to learn that on the job, and I wish that we had done our stress
on the fly. Unfortunately, we can't do too much. We have to truncate this conversation today. So kudos, Rudy. Your crew did a good job, and so glad We did not hear of any incidents. This is from Linda in Osu. And wow, Rudy can sell snow to an Eskimo. The man has vibes and energy. Big ups, Rudy. You nailed it. And this is Ken in Legon saying that.
So why
Let
is
me
that my
check
wife?
the-
I can sell snow, but my wife. Okay, offline.
Someday you'll learn that your
No.
powers can combine, but they won't form Captain Planet at all. So okay, one question here, Rudy. Take this on. How about the RFID refund for those who still have money on their RFID and they couldn't spend?
Small print.
Yeah.
Small print. RFID refunds are for festival goers, for 4-day festival goers. Was clearly stated.
Okay.
If you go to all our websites, we made it clear, and even the booklet. You know, we
So
put
if
out.
you put out booklet. So if you were booked
If you
and
book
you had bought tickets for
4 days
4
ahead,
days, you
whatever
can
is left.
refund on the
Yes, and we also gave people minimum amounts to, you have to track your. It's like almost tracking your spending in your pocket, right? So for refunds, we actually I set up on the 30th and 31st and 1st to actually do refunds.
Okay. All right. Guess what? This is where we end this conversation. Rudy, it's been great, and thank you very much for coming. I don't know if I have enough time for my 5 takeouts, but let me run through it quickly. Number 1 is representation. Everything you do, remember, you are an envoy, an ambassador for a brand. In this case, he didn't only look at it as, he looked at it for Brand Ghana. Number 2, leverage technology, RFID to control crowds, all kinds of interesting things that they did together to make it happen. And then always look to achieve singularity of purpose with the various people that you work with. The 4th thing is that you must be completely thorough in what you do. Final thing is that when you're thinking, imagine and desire to do big and great things, and that's how you started. But in that spirit, always expect the worst, but prepare to mitigate against them. And that's how you deliver something like Afro Nation. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. It's time for Nhyira Addo to bring us the headline news at 2. My name is Nhyira Addo. As always, go forward, make rain, shalom. Stay tuned for more as our regular programming continues right after the news.